Okie dokie, ladies and gents, getting more work done. I have been postponing it because it sort of sucks, but that's just the way it goes. So, my situation is not super great at the moment. This is my excellent, fantastic 4140 welder, but I'm running it through a 20 amp breaker, which is itty bitty, and I would run it, that's the air compressor, I would run it through one of these 30 amp, but they're not even hooked up anymore, and I can't hook up wires and like put an outlet over here because there's no main breaker in this, because this is my little remote box and the main breaker is somewhere else. I don't know where. For those of you who don't know, I rent this place. So I need to talk to my super and figure out what exactly is the deal with this. Because they told me, hey, go ahead and wire in whatever you want. Hook up 240 if you want. But I don't have a main. So I really gotta talk to them and figure out what the heck is going on. I actually gotta leave that open. So anyways, I keep tripping that 20 amp breaker. And the other problem is this welder can do at a maximum 1/4 inch. But I can't weld long enough to get the piece hot because it keeps tripping the breaker. So I've got my torch, and what I'm doing is I'm sitting here just heating up the pieces, heating them up in like little sections, and then welding. And even then, sometimes it just globs it on top, it doesn't penetrate. But this is what we're shooting for. This is the finished product. I've sanded it down, it's ready to be repainted. But yeah, it's turning out real nice. It's centered, it's very nice. I got 2 of them done like this. But this one, actually, we're gonna be doing some welding on the underside because the patch is quite a bit thicker. So if you look, I do apologize for the air compressor noise, but if you look underneath, you can see that lip right there. You see how what the gap is, and we do penetrate at certain parts all the way through, but I'm just gonna go around. I'm gonna heat her up and weld on this side all the way around, just to make sure she never comes out. And honestly, it's probably fine the way it is, but we want to make sure, because I really don't feel like doing this again if I don't have to. There we go. Oh yeah, this one done too. She's a little messier, but really we're just going for strength, not really for looks. But we don't want to make it look awful. So we're gonna finish up this side, weld on both of these on the underside as much as I can. These will be a little bit harder to get, but the front 4 I'll be able to totally weld in on both sides, which will make them a lot stronger. So yeah, that's pretty much all we're doing. And yeah, I gotta run to the auto parts store. I think I'm gonna make a run there tomorrow because I gotta start getting seals for this, and I gotta start bushing in all my leaf springs and all that. And I'm just at the point where there's a lot of not fun work. All the body mount patches, it'd be fine if I could just weld, but since I have to heat up and weld, it sucks. Totally blows. It's taking a lot longer. I mean, I've been here maybe an hour, and I've gotten this done and that done. And that's just ridiculous. So, sucks, but we gotta do it. And then these bushings are finally in. I finally cut these down to the right length, so they fit. And I just gotta tap them down, and they're still a little tight, as you can see, but I don't really care about that. But this side is even tighter. So I'm thinking about, do we just leave the shackles? We just let them be, and then we just cut a little more off on the leaf springs. and just slap the rear springs under there. And I got a special order the U-bolts yet, so pretty soon with the rear axle we're going to be waiting on parts again. But I still got way more work to do with the brakes on the rear axle before we get a rolling chassis. Not sure if I showed you guys these, but we got these great snow tires, or these all-terrains, for a good price. I got $600 for the whole set of 5. They're 10 ply 235 85 R16s. So these are bicycle tires pretty much, and it was the largest factory size you can get on the truck. And the brand, so I'm not one to splurge on name brand tires. You see, we got some Generals that we used to run on the truck. I was actually really happy with these. They're a copycat of a certain BF Goodrich tire. Forgot the exact name, but they just copy the tread and slap it on a General tire. They were really quiet. They handled fantastic in the snow. I really had no complaints. They're fantastic. The only problem is they're 4-ply tires, and with towing I need 10-ply. So we bought these. These are Advanta ATX 750s. Some of them do come in white lettering, and I would have preferred that, but oh well. We have big white tires, or big white wheels. I still have to mount and balance these. Probably sometime next week we'll get them done, just so they're ready for when I need them. And it'll actually save me a little bit of space. I don't have a pile of rims over there and a pile of tires over here. So we got to do that yet. But yeah, we will, once we get these rolling down the road, we'll let you guys know what I think of them. I didn't see a lot of reviews on these tires, maybe like 2 on all the interwebs. So we will let you guys know what I think of them initially, with like the road noise and stuff. But then like a year down the line, we'll let you know how I like it, handling wise, and if I had any problems with the beads leaking or anything like that, because the beads won't leak on these nice, they shouldn't leak on these nice painted rims. And yeah, that's pretty much all I'm doing, just slowly getting these body mounts done. Once these body mounts are done, I'm going to be so thankful. If the patches were thinner, it'd be a lot easier. I wouldn't have to heat them up. But since it's a 1/4-inch patch and the frame is like 3/16, I got to crank the welder up to max power and really max her out. So yeah, once we start making bumper mounts for the front, as you can see, we got to fix that. We got to fix the one up here, so we got to make a little bit of a frame to come down and patch that and all that. But that's a little bit thinner, which won't be so bad. That'll be a little bit easier to weld. And that's pretty much it. Just plugging away. Not really fun or exciting, just the way it goes. Still got to grind those down and weld them in and all that. But if we get half this cab done tonight, I'll be happy. And if I muscle down and get all 4 of these cab mounts done, I'll be really happy, because that's just a lot of tedious work. Yeah, so we're gonna hop back to it and we'll let you guys jump back in when the time's appropriate. Well, I was working on the body mounts. I got 3 out of the 4 done. These back ones have plenty of penetration all the way through, so we're just gonna leave them. And I was heating this one up, and my fire kept spitting out on me because I ran out of acetylene, because my gas bottles are tiny. And normally these tiny bottles are fine for what I need. They last a long time. But I'm really using on the torch. So, going through the bottles. I just filled up the oxygen and the welding blend. And now I'm out of acetylene. So I gotta pick up some acetylene on Monday which is a bummer, because after I finished heating up that last body mount and welding it, I was going to bolt this engine plate down in place for the 2 bolts. And I have all this gap here, especially on this back side. I was going to heat it up and start whacking it into place so that it will sit flush on this cross member. And then I can drill my holes and get that all squared away, but I can't do that now because I don't have gas to heat it up with. And I haven't ordered the body panels yet, and they're not here, so I can't start cutting away. Because a tip for y'all: when you start chopping up metal on any sort of thing where you have a patch panel going in, have the patch ready to go first, so you don't cut away too much. And I'm talking like a pre-bought patch panel. If you're making your own patch panel, just cut whatever you need. But if you, like at this rocker, I don't want to, or say we have a floor, say I don't want to cut away a ton of stuff here if I don't have to, because then I have to buy another panel on top of it to patch it. So just a thought for when you guys are fixing your own rust the proper way. So I gotta figure out what I'm gonna do now. I don't have the paint for these. Oh, I gotta show you guys the crappy welding we did on the back side. This thing is booger welded in. Like, she is filthy, and it's not even my fault. It's just my equipment can't handle it. And these, I did heat it up. I did heat up this piece, but still, it's already in there. So eventually we'll go in there with a die grinder and smooth them down, slap some paint up there, and no one will be the wiser, except for the people who have seen these videos, which is no one. And I gotta think of what I'm gonna do next. I think I'm gonna start popping covers off this motor, so I want to see exactly. I haven't looked at the valves in several years, so we'll pop the rocker cover off. I'd like to pull the accessories too, maybe get that timing cover off, see if we are in fact running the nylon timing gears. I believe we are. Yeah. Oh, and I gotta pull the carburetor off of that 302, because that carburetor is going on this motor. And the reason we're doing that is I could buy the dual port manifold, and I'd really like to, but it's almost $500, and I just don't want to put that kind of money into this, into just an intake. I mean, that intake, I picked it up for $300, which is a lot, but I think that's acceptable. It's just, it's going to be way cheaper. We get better mileage because that's an annular discharge. It's the Autolite 2100 annular discharge, and it's a 69 carburetor off of a 302, so it's for the proper size motor, and 69 was a good year for the 302. Back 2 years old, that design is, and it was rock solid. So we're just gonna take that Autolite 2100, we're gonna put on a 4-barrel 2-barrel adapter and slap her on here, but we're a long ways away from that, so we gotta just start pulling things off this motor, maybe pull some lines and stuff like that, just some things that we can, that'll make it easier. Or I could do the smart thing and start bushing these leaf springs. Yeah, we'll see. There's just too much to do. I'd like to do it all. But yeah, maybe we'll do springs. Maybe we'll pop the valve cover off, just see what we got going on. Maybe we'll try and hammer that air cleaner around again. Just so many little things that I can do while I wait for parts that I haven't even ordered. So yeah, top to it.